to learn about 10 things successful people never do. Now, let's begin. Number 1, backwards expectations. If there's one thing success will teach you, it's that nothing is perfect. Take your mentors, partners, or friends. Every single one of them has flaws, and lots of them. They mess up, make stupid decisions, and sometimes fall flat on their face. But chances are you already knew this. If you can ask almost anyone directly, they'll tell you that perfection doesn't exist. So why do those same people turn around and expect things to be flawless? They'll spend hours trying to perfect their work. They'll get angry when their coworkers do one tiny thing wrong. I've seen people scream at their dog when it messes up for the first time in years. My point is, you're saying one thing and doing the other. You know no one can be perfect, but you expect perfection anyway. That's where successful people differ. While we're obsessed with erasing our flaws, they won't touch perfection with a 10-foot pole. Why? Because they know perfection is a gigantic waste of time and effort. They'd say that anyone who tries to convince you otherwise is either hiding something or faking it. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with shooting for the stars. You can and should pursue greatness every day, but even the best things in life have downsides. Successful people know this like the back of their hand, so they never let their expectations get the better of them. Number 2, random aspirations. When successful people set goals, what do they look like? In past videos, we've talked about the dangers of ambiguity when goal setting. A thorough, specific plan is always more effective than a bunch of underdeveloped ideas. But even the most successful people have their fair share of miscellaneous dreams. Just like the rest of us, successful people fantasize about being in a movie or owning an island with no intention of actually doing it. But here's the difference. When successful people turn a dream into a goal, they always avoid these two things. First, randomness. A successful person's goals are never out of the blue. Every goal they set stems from a concrete motivator and pushes them one step closer to their definition of success. Second, impulsiveness. Successful people's goals aren't some spur-of-the-moment decision. They're well thought out and intricately orchestrated over weeks, months, or even years. Since their goals are never random or impulsive, successful people have a much easier time following through. Most people lose motivation and give up because they have no clue where their goals come from or why they care. You need a reason that makes your goals matter, because successful people never move forward without one. Number 3, master anything. When you claim you've mastered something, it means you have nothing left to learn. You reach the highest point and can't grow anymore. So if I asked you to give me a few examples of people who've mastered their craft, what would you say? You might think of these successful people as masters. They're the leading experts in their field, so what more could they have to learn? Successful people know that you can never master anything. No matter how much time and effort you invest, there will always be more to learn and discover. You will always have weaknesses and find new ways to grow. Even the wealthiest CEOs in the world are still discovering new techniques and strategies to improve their businesses. The concept of mastering something appeals to people because there's a stopping point. You work and struggle until you've mastered something. Then you can finally take a break. But that isn't how it works. Have you ever heard it's about the journey, not the destination? Well, learning works the same way. That's why successful people focus on growing a little every day instead of trying to master their craft. Number 4, drive blind. Imagine you're in class about to give a presentation for your final project. You look over at your partner and realize he didn't bring any notes. You start to panic, but he says, "Don't worry, I'll just improvise." This is something successful people avoid whenever possible. They never intentionally go into a situation unprepared. Before they tackle any project, they make a detailed plan. The goal is to anticipate problems and actively map out their best plan of attack. Of course, being prepared doesn't guarantee success. Sometimes things take an unexpected left turn. But even when you have to improvise, that thorough preparation will always come in handy somehow. Number 5, accept the impossible. Just like successful people don't believe in perfection, the impossible isn't on their radar either. If you haven't already guessed, successful people aren't too fond of absolutes. The term impossible is particularly frustrating because it means you will always fail no matter how hard you try. Success relies on your ability to overcome the most intimidating challenges, to have faith in yourself in the face of adversity. But when you see something as impossible, you lose all reason to try. Impossible things box you in. They close off your options and build up walls. The majority of people throw this word around without realizing how it affects their goals and motivation. They label their dreams impossible just because they seem hard or far away. On the other hand, successful people don't believe anything is out of their reach. They got where they are today because hard work and motivation can work wonders. Your goals will be scary, time-consuming, and exhausting. They will force you outside your comfort zone and challenge your limits, but they will never be impossible. Number 6, give the minimum. Successful people are never satisfied with the bare minimum. Many unsuccessful people make a habit of doing just enough to get by. Maybe you see your job as an easy way to make money, so you do just enough to skate by. There's nothing necessarily wrong with this, but successful people always go above and beyond. Even when they're doing something they don't care about, they try to exceed expectations. So why do they work so hard? Because they're constantly looking for new ways to expand their horizons. They see every opportunity, even the boring ones, as a chance to grow. This tireless attitude also builds self-discipline. That way, when they're finally working on something they like, they can give it their all. There's a pretty common misconception that you can spend years not trying only to flip the switch when a great opportunity comes along. But you have to set yourself up for success. It won't just happen automatically. By succeeding at the jobs you hate, you can easily excel at the jobs you love. Number 7, play the blame game. Any successful person will tell you that excuses do more harm than good. The truth is, most people play the blame game on a daily basis. Anytime something goes wrong, you start looking for someone or something to pin it on. Maybe it is their fault and maybe it isn't. Successful people will tell you it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you are consistently honest with yourself. To be successful, you need to reflect and recognize your shortcomings. It's embarrassing to admit when something is your fault, but that's how you avoid making the same mistake in the future. The same goes for bad habits like procrastination. Don't lie and say you have a great work ethic when you know deep down that isn't the case. It's easier and feels better to make excuses, but confronting your mistakes will help you in the long run. Number 8, stay in the box. While everyone knows the importance of diligence and motivation, there's one key ingredient to success that's rarely discussed: creativity. I'm not talking about painting or playing an instrument, I mean the ability to think outside the box. Successful people never stop searching for ways to experiment. They're constantly looking to streamline or reinvent, carve out a new niche, or create something original. But if they've already made tons of money, why not sit back and enjoy their success? Let's say you're running a tech company. You come up with some great invention that everyone loves. You sell your product to millions of people, but then you stop. Instead of experimenting, you get lazy. But the world doesn't stop turning. Your industry will move on without you. Other innovators will take your place and leave you in the dust. The most successful people stay successful because they never stop trying to push the envelope. Number 9, surrender control. Successful people refuse to let anyone control their life. With so much of our culture built upon power dynamics and hierarchies, it's tempting to let other people make the hard decisions for you. Many people go through life doing only what they're told and nothing more. If that makes you happy, then go for it. But successful people consistently take matters into their own hands. When they see something they want changed, they don't sit around waiting for someone else to take care of it. They take the helm and change it themselves. Number 10, take all the credit. You may come up with a million earth-shattering ideas, but you can't be successful on your own. You need other people to shift your perspective, support you, and keep you motivated. You need them to cover your weaknesses so you can focus on your strengths. That's why successful people never take all the credit. After years of trying and failing, they learned how to set aside their ego and be humble. While there are a few exceptions, you'll find that most successful people are incredibly modest. They've made the most money, but they never forgot the hundreds of other people that contributed to their success.